This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on the South Today, Dunedin businesses and the Otago Chamber of Commerce celebrate tomorrow's Level 1 COVID status. A new computer and mobile app is set to help people with disabilities to find walks and paths they can explore. And educators have met to discuss the future of education looking ahead to 2040. Tēnā koutou katoa, ngā mihi o te ahi nei, kia ora, I'm Simon Anderson. This afternoon, Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern announced New Zealand outside of Auckland will move to Alert Level 1, and the country's largest city will move to Alert Level 2 on Wednesday night. Ardern says New Zealand's collective action has brought the virus under control.
From midnight tonight, everywhere outside of Auckland will return to COVID Alert Level 1.
Monday, September 21. And that's because we were able to, in advance, gazette and draft the orders for that alert level change as we anticipated them at the last Cabinet meeting.
The Prime Minister says tests prove the virus hasn't spread beyond Auckland, proving the government's approach has been the right one. Business people and hospitality workers in Dunedin this afternoon say they're looking forward to the changes.
I am pretty excited to be going down to Level 1, mainly because I just love seeing people just, getting back out into the community, spending money in places that they love, as also someone who loves hanging out in these types of places.
Level 2, it did sort of take us back a wee bit, but I feel like a majority of Dunedin has really treated it as Level 1 pretty much anyway.
And at Princess Winners, we're really excited to go into Level 1. So at the moment we've had the social distancing app and also hand sanitizer, but we're really excited to be able to have all the workers back in the city and all the foot traffic back again.
The government says acting swiftly has worked and means restrictions can be eased. The Otago Chamber of Commerce says dropping to Level 1 from midnight tonight is just the lifeline the region needs.
Yeah, look, we think it's good news, particularly for hospitality and hopefully for the events sector. It means that people in those sectors can start to plan with a little bit more certainty in the next wee while, as long as cases don't get worse. And hopefully this weekend, I think we've got a Ranfurly Shield Challenge potentially coming up this weekend. That might provide a bit of impetus to get people to come into the town and start to share some of the things that we have on offer.
Whereas the rest of the country is at Level 1 tomorrow, Auckland remains at Level 2 until Wednesday. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Police have named the person who died in yesterday morning's Ravensbourne crash. Dunedin man, 18-year-old Grayson Veach, died in the crash which happened on Ravensbourne Road at about 3:45 a.m. yesterday. The ute he was travelling in went through a fence, rolled and ended up on a railway track below State Highway 88. Firefighters were forced to access the ute by foot from the bottom of Jessie Street. 2 other people were in the vehicle at the time and both were taken to Dunedin Hospital with moderate injuries. Serious road crash investigators were on the scene yesterday. Outdoor adventures will be more accessible for people with varying levels of mobility thanks to a new website. Dunedin is one of the first places to be mapped on the new Accessible website, which shows people the accessibility of walkways, waterways and cycleways.
Making tracks more accessible for all. Dunedin is among the first cities in the country being mapped by a website set to show people of all abilities which tracks are best suited to them. Conservation Minister Eugenie Sage says the app is groundbreaking.
This new app or online tool and the ability for tracks throughout council reserves on public conservation land to be profiled and have that information to go onto websites is an enormous step forward. And I really congratulate Mayor Hawkins, the Dunedin City Council, for being the first in Aotearoa to actually put this into practice.
Announcing the website during a visit to Dunedin, Minister Sage says spending time outdoors is crucial for people's well-being, but a lack of information about accessibility is a barrier for people with mobility or disability issues. The Accessibel app will help people plan their outings. The website's been launched by Sensibel, the Department of Conservation and the Hallberg Foundation.
This project is an accumulation of many years of work and collaboration from local, regional and national organisations. It is beyond wonderful actually to have you all here today.
Bridget Meyer says it fits with Hallberg's philosophy of "we're all in this waka together." The Dunedin City Council is one of the initial funders for the project's development, alongside the Central Lakes Trust and the New Plymouth City Council. Dunedin Mayor Aaron Hawkins says it's good to encourage people to be as active as they can be.
Local government has a critical role to play in supporting the well-being of our communities, and Dunedin City Council has made our social and environmental well-being a priority, and we support that in a number of ways, but a couple of them that are relevant today, of course, is in providing opportunities for people to be active in their community and providing tracks and trails and supporting people being able to do that.
The Accessibel app gives people information about whether a track is wheelchair, pram or mobility scooter friendly before they've left the comfort of their own home, allowing them to plan for future adventures. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Drunk drivers were involved in crashes with parked cars and parking meters in Dunedin at the weekend. Police say a 29-year-old male was driving a vehicle which collided with two parked cars in Mulford Street on Friday night. The driver blew more than double the limit and requested a blood alcohol test. A 30-year-old woman who was stopped on Kaikorai Valley Road 10 minutes earlier was also over the allowed limit. And a 22-year-old woman crashed her car into a parking meter on Saturday morning. The woman had a breath alcohol reading of more than 3 times the limit. The Otago Polytechnic Hub was bustling with youngsters last week, showing what they'd learned about Dunedin's future. More than 60 different classrooms developed solutions to 6 key challenges likely to be faced in 2040.
9 different primary and intermediate schools from across Dunedin have been studying issues that may confront the city in 20 years' time. Last week, their visualisations of what they think the future will hold were put on display at the Otago Polytechnic Student Hub.
Kids have been looking at things like urban growth and sustainable transport and a vibrant central city and rising sea levels, and have been creating these wonderful models, and some of the models are physical models and some of the models are digital models.
Funded by the Otago Community Trust, the studies are in their second year of a 3-year project, which is also being run in partnership with the Dunedin City Council's strategic planning team.
We've decided this year that we'll do something all together so we can all learn and test out all the new resources we've got, and then we can go forward next year in our final year to sort of schools can branch out on their own to try new things on their own.
And Ian Cook-Bonney says the projects have been much enjoyed by the young pupils.
The kids have loved it, and I think if you talk to those kids you'll see the engagement and the pride they have in their work, and they're so excited to be down here looking at their exhibits on display, to talk to people about what they've done and what they've learnt about what they've done. And I'm hoping it's one of those things that they'll remember when they are much, much older.
The 40 projects were developed over the past 2 school terms. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today, a student-made Maori card game hits shelves and a dog rescue operation puts the poor in portraits. Ka kite a koe nei.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Hi, Al Campbell Menswear.
We're back in George Street on the corner of Hanover Street. Come and check out our big store. It's a big space full of bargains. Now look at these shirts. There's shirts for everybody here. Look at these merino pullovers, stacks of moleskins, literally tons of trousers. Check out these big racks of sports jackets. Beautiful.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
So come and check out Alex Campbell Menswear. We're back on George Street in the old ANZ building.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
Hoki mai anō, welcome back. Many dogs were given their day in Queenstown recently as canines and their humans lined up to have puppy portraits taken by a professional photographer. The event was run by the Queenstown branch of Dog Rescue Dunedin to raise funds for the organisation.
Dogs were welcome at a fundraiser held in Queenstown's Beech Tree Bar on Sunday. The event was run by the Queenstown branch of a dog rescue group originally set up in Dunedin.
Dog Rescue Dunedin was created to rescue any condemned dogs that were left or abandoned and not adopted directly through the DCC.
The event included professional photographer Laura Holzner, who took portraits of the dogs in exchange for donations.
The money raised today will go towards the dogs in foster care, so that goes towards their desexing, which is really important, food and basically veterinary care.
And Dog Rescue Dunedin may have to consider a name change, with the organisation now well established in Queenstown and looking to expand its help for homeless dogs further south.
So we are now rescuing dogs from the Invercargill City Pound, and we have a great strong relationship with the QLDC as well.
In Queenstown, the South today.
Former Prime Minister Helen Clark will be the guest speaker at a forum in Dunedin later this month. Clark will give the Dunedin Abrahamic Interfaith Group's annual Open Peace Lecture on the 30th of September. Joining her on stage will be a panel of local people representing the Muslim, Christian and Jewish faiths. In keeping with Clark's preference, the event will take the shape of a facilitated conversation on the topic of peace and hope in the age of COVID-19. The event, which has been running since 2004, will be live streamed on the internet. A te reo Maori card game created by Dunedin school pupils has hit store shelves nationwide. The educational game, called Fitu, was created by 7 Otago Boys High School Year 13 pupils to celebrate Maori culture and language.
A group of Dunedin schoolboys have created a card game aimed at boosting the use of te reo Māori.
A group of myself and 6 other classmates came up with the idea of creating an educational Māori card game to help enhance the Māori culture and language throughout New Zealand.
Fitu was made as part of the nationwide Lion Foundation Young Enterprise scheme, during which pupils create a product to form a business which they run throughout the year. Cameron Elliott says Fitu is like the game Last Card, but with a twist.
So it's got different Māori concepts and kind of cultural heroes within it. So there's 4 main colours. You've got blue, red, green and yellow, all in Māori, and then numbers ranging from 1 to 9. And then we've also got different action cards like reverses, skips.
The boys spent hours playing the game while developing it, as they wanted to make sure it was both fun and functional. Cameron says, as well as using te reo Māori, Whitu pays respect to Māori philosophy.
Different Māori cards that kind of relate to those action cards. So we have Maui, who's a cultural hero, and he's a +2 to everyone. We've got the God of Weather, who's a reverse card, and the God of War, who's a Just Say No card.
Work on the game began in Term 1, and by Term 3, the final product is being sold nationally in Paper Plus and Māori gift stores. It's already proving popular, with 800 orders already and more than 650 packs being sold. In Dunedin, the South Today.
After the break on the South Today, we wrap up Dunedin's premier rugby competition and we have the early week's weather for you. Hea koko aki nei.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Shop on Carrot and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Ah, TV, our favourite babysitter. But it can be tough keeping up with what our tamariki are watching. Luckily, the Broadcasting Standards Authority has made some smart changes to the classification labels. Ooh! Plus changes to the time of day certain rated shows will air and awesome new parental lock features, meaning your babysitter's job is safe. Find out more at safeviewing.co.nz.
Hi, our Campbell Menswear. We're back in George Street on the corner of Hanover Street. Come and check out our big store. It's a big space full of bargains. Now look at these shirts. There's shirts for everybody here. Look at these merino pullovers, stacks of moleskins, literally tons of trousers. Check out these big racks of sports jackets. Beautiful.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell menswear, it fits.
So come and check out Alex Campbell Menswear. We're back on George Street in the old ANZ building.
No mai noa. This year's abbreviated Premier Club rugby season came to an end at Forsyth Bar Stadium on Saturday as the favoured Tairi beat University 40-26. Rugby aficionado Paul Dwyer caught up with two of the victors after the match.
So Brody, mate, we'll start with you. So remember, it's all over, 40-26. Tyree came out of the blocks flying. You scored 3 tries in the first 7 or 8 minutes. What the hell were you doing?
Oh.
Did you get Phil Young back in for one of those big speeches?
No, we just didn't want to end up like we were last year and get 30-0 down at half time. So boys knew we had to come out firing, and we knew they'd come back. So we knew we had to start strong, and I think we did pretty well there.
So yourself, I mean, I was pretty happy with your game because I haven't been a big fan. Because I mean, you're quite a small lot, but you certainly got around the track today. Scored a nice try off a big run from Don Lolo.
Yeah. No, just enjoy being out there, really.
Good to see, mate. So Matt, we'll bring you in. So you're co-captain today. So what do they say to the boys? Because you really did come out smoking in that first 20 minutes.
I don't know. I think it was just playing in the back of our head last year's final.
When you were down 31-3 at half time.
So we knew we couldn't be on the receiving end of that again. And I think just that first 20. I don't think I've ever been in a team with so much fizz.
So my question to you boys, because it's got to be quite tough, because I was having, Lashes and I did the commentary upstairs. In fact, we fell asleep in the second half. It was got a bit boring, and we had to talk about the weather. But
we're a boring team.
Well, I keep saying that. I keep saying that. But so the question for me though is it hard though in the second half? You're up by 30 odd points. Was it going through your back in mind that you came back and got it to 31 all last year?
I think so. Well, like we never knew we'd won that game until the last minute, probably. It was in the back of our heads, and we sort of made a few silly penalties and gave them a bit of a ride, and as soon as they started getting a sniff, we knew that feeling last year, and it got us right back in the game last year.
So boys, but I have calling you boring, but I have called you the most consistent team all year, and you went out and proved that today.
Yeah, like we've bloody been turning up every week and winning those close games, but we knew we had to come out firing today and put a good performance on.
And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Dunedin businesses and Otago Chamber of Commerce celebrate COVID's Level 1 status from tomorrow. A new computer and mobile app is set to help people with disabilities to find walks and paths they can explore. And educators have met to discuss the future of education, looking ahead to 2040. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we welcome Hayden Meikle. Thanks for joining us, Hayden.
Good evening, Simon. How's things?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. Well, who doesn't love the smell of freedom in the morning? Level 1, 11:59 p.m. Can't come soon enough. It's been a long time coming for us. Obviously, the people of Auckland are a little while longer in Level 2, but we're ready, aren't we? We're ready for Level 1. I guess it's sort of been Level 1.5 for a while, but here we are. So we've got all the reaction tomorrow, and as you'd expect, a lot of businesses very positive. We're looking at what gatherings might now be happening, and the Blossom Festival this weekend is the biggie, really. A huge opportunity for them to cram those people into the main street of Alexandria and have a bit of fun. And I suppose we're floating the possibility to have a Renfrew Shield game. Otago's off to challenge for the Shield this weekend. Yeah. And who knows, next weekend it could be coming home and Forsyth Bar Stadium could be heaving. So yep, Level 1, COVID, that'll be our major focus tomorrow. Big day in Queenstown today, where a group representing Upper Clutha residents has basically taken the Queenstown Council to court over the lease they have with the QAC, the Airport Corporation, around Wanaka Airport, the expansion of the Wanaka Airport. Interesting story. It's been rumbling away all year, obviously, but it's showing no signs of slowing down. Very sad story that the young man killed in the Dunedin crash at the weekend was Grayson Veach, an extremely talented young motocross rider. I think he was a national champion. We've got some thoughts from his family. The bell ringing ceremony, the return of the big birds, the albatrosses coming back for the season. So we've got a lovely couple of pics of the kids out ringing the bell and getting ready for the return of the albatross. And in sport, a couple of bits and pieces. Dunedin Bowl Stadium turning 25, and it has a look back over the highs and lows. I guess for some people it's a little bit under the radar, the Bowl Stadium, but hugely important for people who love that sport. There's still plenty of them around the place. And they're talking about the future as well, what they want to do for the next 25 years to keep going and keep thriving. So all that and plenty more.
Great, Hayden. Thanks very much. And time now for a look at the weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Beginning with the southern view, a magnolia in bloom at the Arthur Street car park in Dunedin. Looking at the situation, another week of strong westerly airflow ahead with strong northwesterly winds tomorrow and heavy rain in the west, but it is drier further east. Starting at the northwest of the South Island, mild temperatures and showers for Greymouth and Westport. Greymouth on 15, Westport 2 degrees cooler on 13. It's mostly sunny in the northeast as Nelson reaches 18 degrees and Blenheim is on 19. And mostly sunny too in Canterbury with similar temperatures, Kaikoura on 17, but Christchurch and Ashburton both reaching 19 degrees. Looking at what's in store for the southern towns, Gore, Balclutha, the Catlins and Lumsden can all expect strong northwesterlies with rain developing later and highs of 15 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes, Wanaka, Queenstown, Alexandra and Te Anau should brace themselves for strong gusty northwesterlies with rain developing later and highs of 15 or 16 degrees. It's drier up in the northern towns with Twizel and Omarama in for gusty northwesterlies, cloudy skies and highs of 18 degrees. In Dunedin it should be fine tonight with northwesterlies and an overnight low of 9 degrees. Tomorrow brings sunny periods at first, but high cloud is set to increase and thicken during the morning with northwesterly winds becoming fresh and gusty. A period of strong winds during the evening may bring some brief light rain, a high of 17 and a low of 11. Expect sunny periods at first on Wednesday with mild temperatures and moderate northerlies. A colder southwesterly will freshen during the afternoon with a period of rain. A high of 16 and a low of 6. Finally, in Invercargill, cloud will increase tonight with northwesterlies freshening and an overnight low of 9. Watch out for strong to near gale northwesterlies tomorrow with cloudy skies. It should be dry at first, but periods of rain could develop during the afternoon. A high of 14 and a low of 10. Wednesday sees showers with fresh, gusty westerly winds and colder temperatures. A high of 18 and a low of 11. And that's the news this Monday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz or follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Nō reira, kia pai te pō, ka kite anō.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.